Unless you've been living under a rock over the last 5 months, and you will know that Omar Berrada has been appointed as Manchester United's new CEO. He is taking the job officially and being able to work from the start of July, obviously on gardening leave. But what is happening and what is reportedly happening behind the scenes is Omar Berrada has already got his hand in the pot. He's already making things happen at Manchester United. Reports today from the Telegraph from James Ducker saying that Omar Berrada was instrumental in making the Jason Wilcox deal happen for Manchester United, in bringing him over to the football club. He knew where he was, he knew what he wanted, he knew the role that Wilcox was going for, and has convinced Manchester United, apparently, according to the Telegraph, to go for Wilcox and bring him into the football club. This and all of the other good stuff and more articles coming out on what Jason Wilcox is all about is what we want to talk about today. And we are going to look ahead towards the Coventry game tomorrow and update you guys on everything that's happening around that as well. Welcome along to the show, everybody. It's Saturday. Football is here. No 12:30 kickoff today, though. It's a bit strange that having an early kickoff in the Premier League, but it gives everyone a chance to get out and about and get their stuff sorted, as is what I'm going to do after this. I will be doing a live watch-along on Tifo for the City and Chelsea game later, guys, so I'm going to pop a post and an extra video out for you members who are tuning in right now for that, so you know what to do to join me over there. It's actually on the Tifo community page now, so go over there and click on that and get ready for that game later on. It's important because who are United going to be playing? I say who are United going to be playing? It's no forgiven. It's not forgiven. Jesus, I won't forgive anyone if it goes the wrong way against Coventry, and I'll say that. But it's no given that United are obviously going to get the result tomorrow. We'll talk about what we might have to do and what we can expect. The full preview to the game tomorrow is coming later on this evening, guys. It's going to be a late night Saturday show this week after the game against Chelsea and City, guys. So make sure you're fully tuned in there as well. But welcome along to the show, everyone. Please get your live chats in. If you are joining us live, make sure you get your comments in after the video has finished live, and we'll come back to as many comments as I possibly can today in build up to the Wembley game. I want to get your vibes and how you're feeling about everything right now as well. But yeah, please give the video a like and hit that subscribe button if you are just tuning in for the first time. Good to have you along. Welcome. This is Forever United TV. I'm Adam, and we are talking Omar Berrada, people. What is going on behind the scenes? Well, it seems like he has been quite instrumental in bringing Jason Wilcox to Manchester United. It's being well reported everywhere. And yeah, I think most of the reports this morning basically saying, look, Berrada is doing work behind the scenes at Manchester United already. Manchester United are in the market for a right-sided centre-back, central midfielder and striker. Depending on what happens in terms of outgoings, they could also look to bring in a wide forward and full-back. This is all in the same article about what Omar Berrada is doing, the work he is already taking charge of behind the scenes. I don't know what you can do when you're on gardening leave. I don't know what the rules are. I haven't looked into it enough to know exactly what to tell you guys with it, but I'm guessing they can still do their work within their own means and then be ready to go for Manchester United. Like, obviously, if someone was to ask Omar Berrada what he thought of Jason Wilcox, he could easily just say, yeah, he's the best that you can get for that role. So I would do everything you possibly can to go and get him. Like, I mean, anyone could do that, but I'm guessing that there may have been a phone call or two from Wilcox to Berrada. Like I said, I'm guessing, I don't know, but it is being reported. The top story from the Telegraph was this, and this was a tweet that came out. Omar Berrada, who is due to formally start work as Manchester United's chief executive in July, was influential in the appointment of Jason Wilcox. I think I would be surprised if he wasn't. The City connection is quite clear. It's there, isn't it, for everyone to see. Omar Berrada worked very closely with Jason Wilcox at his time at Manchester City. They know each other very well. They know their positives and obviously their plus points. Like, if Omar Berrada was in charge of hiring and firing, which it does seem, and he has got a big say in who actually comes into Manchester United, and he was recommending a best-in-class, say, for that particular role. So you look at the people that have left, the likes of Richard Arnold, obviously, John Murtough, Judge, Fletcher's moving away. Like, these roles that are available at Manchester United, it's been a complete overhaul. And do you know what? It's spectacular. It's brilliant. Like, it's normal day-to-day in normal football club terms, but for United and United fans in particular, it's spectacular. We love it because we're acting like a normal football club. Like, the fact that they have just cleared the decks is the biggest thing that Inos have done behind the scenes so far. Like I said, everything that we said in the week and the concerns with Inos, like I said, they're not concerns that have been brought because of Inos and what they've done mistake-wise. They've done absolutely everything perfectly right so far. They have got a team in place, a football-powered team that is going to take United forward, hopefully off the pitch and help on the pitch as well. The issues are Manchester United and what's happened before and what they're having to deal with, and that, unfortunately, is just something that you inherit when you come into Manchester United. But the stuff that they are doing and clearing the decks of all of the, let's call them the Deadwood of the staff as well, because we all go on all the time about the players and the Deadwood players. Like, the staff are the ones that have been letting Manchester United players get away with bleeding murder. Like, the standards of the football club, like, the top of the tree, whoever the CEO is, like Richard Arnold, whether it was Ed Woodward, like, they're the ones in charge of organising the rest of Manchester United and the sporting side of things. They're the ones that are in charge of recruiting, the hiring and firing as such. So they're the ones that have to be called for this. They're the ones that have to be called out for it. So, realistically, the standards at Manchester United go all the way up, from the players through to the coaches, the manager, all the way through. And right now, it looks like we're going from top to bottom. So you ask any Manchester United fan, like, what is the ultimate problem at Manchester United? Now, right at the top of the tree, you've got the Glazers, haven't you? That's the problem. They're not going anywhere. We know. So what is the lesser evil? It's someone coming in who is going to run the football side of it. Well, they're probably profiting from it. Is it better than what it was before? Of course it's better than what it was before. And anyone who says it's not is honestly needs to educate themselves and read into what Sir Jim Radcliffe and Inos are actually doing right now, because I guarantee you won't be moaning if Manchester United are winning games and playing good football because of the structure that's been brought in. Now, to get there, it's going to take a lot of work, obviously, but everyone that's come in, and I think the most important one out of all of them, I still stand by this, is like a proper CEO. Manchester United, last time we was relevant, was when David Gill was in charge. A massively well-respected man and a best in class for that role. We have now taken the next in line, which is the best in class in Omar Berrada, the man that was successful at Manchester City. He is there and was there from the start. That was the first move, and I think the most important one. The head, basically. So right now, I look at this, and you can talk about Sir Jim Radcliffe, David Brailsford, their roles, but Omar Berrada is the head honcho. He is the top dog now. He's the main man. He'll have all of the power over everything, and everyone works underneath him. Yes, you've got the owners and the board members and stuff like that, but when it comes to the football side of things, Omar Berrada calling the shots is the single biggest positive that Manchester United can take from Inos taking over. That's a fact. That's a proven quality appointment in what we've done with Berrada. And he's a no-nonsense, no messing, fully organised, best at what he does in contracts, players, acquisitions, times to sell players, looking ahead to values, everything that we need to fall in line with, say, PSR and financial fair play in terms of all that side of things and the day-to-day running of the football club. He is the best that you can get. And we've got him. Now below it comes the next steps. And eventually we will get down to the players. And the players, I think, obviously this summer. So eventually when I say eventually coming down to the players, I expect that to start this summer. So I think now the way that things are going, like Wilcox yesterday it's not massive surprise, but it was an appointment I didn't expect to be made or officially made yet. Like they said in the coming weeks, and that was last week, and it's done. So Wilcox and Berrada both in situ now. Dan Ashworth, I think, now will follow. What we read yesterday regarding the Newcastle news from their side about appointing a replacement for Dan Ashworth is very close, and that will then push forward the talks into the next phase for Dan Ashworth leaving and the compensation side of things with United. So I actually, having been, about 2 weeks ago, Saturday, talking to you guys saying, I'm actually worried that Dan Ashworth won't be done. We need to just get on with it. Stop. I was worried, and I was saying, look, let's not worry. Let's just organise ourselves without Dan Ashworth, because it looked like that was the way it was going. Then Murto was announced that he's leaving, and then things started to accelerate again. So things change all the time, whether it be we not fully listening or understanding of what's been said, whether it's people that in the media are saying one thing that isn't right, and they don't know the full story. They're just guessing to get clicks and whatever. Things have changed all the time, constantly, week on week, with Inos still Inos in charge of Manchester United. So I think we can just look at that and go, look, they're not one to hang around, it would seem. Like, whenever you feel like Inos may be falling into the trap, bang, something seems to happen. And that's it. It's like, going into next season, like, to not have, like, Arnold, Murto, like, all these old people hanging around, like the failures of the football club, not to have these hanging around and, like, be in charge of this club, to have this whole new look is massive. And Omar Berrada, I think, even with not having an official role at the club and not being properly, he is announced and he's the CEO, but obviously not being able to work yet and still having an effect on things, just shows you the quality that we've brought in, and it shows you the power that Omar Berrada has also got. So I feel like that is massive. And you know what? It doesn't surprise me that he was influential with Wilcox. I said this like numerous times, like, the obvious blueprint to success, sadly, is over the road, down at Manchester City, at the Noisy Neighbours house. And they have got it right. Like, they have got no history. They have got no real, what's the word I'm looking for? They've got no sort of culture, really, Manchester City. They are all brand new, manufactured Manchester City. That's what they are. And everyone knows it. It's like that clip. I know it's just a quick clip of a Real Madrid fan talking outside of the Etihad, but it rings very, very true what that kid was saying. And it is fact. It's like they don't care about Manchester City. They are irrelevant. They know who the history football clubs are. They know. And if United get it right, this is why everyone is really bricking it right now in terms of the other teams in the league. And you've got to look at it and go, right, if they're stressing and doing everything they possibly can to stop Manchester United making these moves to get better, then they know and they realise that United, if they get themselves together and get things right, they've got the structure. Like we said before, the PSR rules that are going to change, that are going to help United more than anyone, because we don't have European money to help us in the transfer market. But if PSR changes, everything changes. So, and look, this is a sign for me that we are doing the right thing, and that's the positive you've got to take. The problems are going to mount and mount and mount. They're just going to be there. Like I said yesterday, accept it as a United fan. Ineos have got issues in dealing with a lot of Manchester United's problems. But still, what they are doing and what they can do, they are doing right. And they are doing it quick. They're not messing around. So I'll just say, like, look, we will judge Ineos in 3 years probably. We will scrutinise everything they've done. We will judge them after this summer. We will. But everything that they can do in the meantime, while this season's still going on, they have done. And that's one thing that we cannot argue with as fans. Like, they have done everything in their power to make Manchester United better. Like, even like we said last night, again, Lord Cole chairing that task force to work on the infrastructure and the stadium development side of things. Just move that aside. That's a different team altogether. And he has got his main players in play right now in dealing with the football side of things as well. So there we go. Sorry, I'm just reading the message from Kaz there. Yep. Got that. Jean-Claude Blanc actually having lunch with Zinedine Zidane. That's an interesting one. If that is true or not, I'm not too sure. But yeah, it is for me now going into this summer with hopefully with Dan Ashworth in place as well as Jason Wilcox and everything else. Like, it just opens doors. And do you know what? I was thinking about this the other night. I was actually going, you know what? In terms of players coming in, what does this do to the current playing staff right now? Like, it's clear that Sir David Brailsford has made a point of getting into the players and looking at them in the face and saying, look, you ain't just going to be judged by people you never see anymore. We are going to be visible. We are going to be in your face, and we are going to be setting standards. Like, when we was talking with Jay the other day, when he was talking about what Sir David Brailsford does with the cycling teams in terms of, like, if you aren't good enough, then you will be fizzled out. Like, you will be weaned out of the football club. And I feel like that's the process right now. So forget about the players that are coming in. Like, we know players are going to be leaving. We know certain players are going to still be here. But I think what they're trying to make obvious to everyone outside looking in Ineos is that they are visible. They are there. Like, beforehand, who did the players report to? Who are they accountable to? Like, they go into training, they see the manager, read them the right act, they can kick off on social media or whatever. Now, no, that's not going to be there. From next season, that manager is going to have a team fully supportive of a football structure behind him. So these players won't be just answering to nobody. It's like, yeah, just let them know, let them know I'm not feeling good in this way about things, discussions with agents and things like that. No, so David Brailsford has made himself visible to the players already. So Jim Radcliffe has come out and said, look, like, standards and everything need to go up. United need to be winning. So I think with that in mind, I look into next season and I go, I want to see what reaction the players that are left at Manchester United have under Ineos and what happens from that point. Because that, I feel, is what every United fan has been moaning for. Like, all we want to know is who is being made accountable for this average, lacklustre performance every single week for Manchester United. I think, like we've said before, I think Erik ten Hag will be accountable for the squad. I think he will be the man that takes the fall. Like, but this is the last season these players are going to get away with it. It really is. Like, you're not going to get any support off the likes of Wilcox and Dan Ashworth and Omar Berrada. Like, these guys are used to working with outfits that are cutthroat and straight down to the bone. As in, like, you have to be at this standard, otherwise you are not going to make it. Berrada, like I said, at the top of the tree, he isn't going to accept any drop in standards from Ashworth. He's not going to accept anything less than what he's had before from Jason Wilcox, which is why he's recommended him. He knows the standards that need to be kept to make Manchester City stay at the top. And so did Wilcox. And you only have to look into some of the reports and some of the articles on Wilcox and the interviews that he's done. Like, for instance, like across there at the bottom of your screen right now, there's more to this article as well. And Henry Winter, formerly of the Times, has said on Jason Wilcox, like, he witnessed a training session with Jason Wilcox on one of the academy levels at Manchester City, and it was quite clear. Like, the players didn't just respect Jason Wilcox because of his playing career. They respected him because of his coaching attributes and styles as well. He is well-renowned and well thought of in football circles. So this is a massive positive, and that's a Berrada standard, and that's a Berrada parameter. Oh, it's getting technical now with this wording. But that's what I feel is the biggest thing out of all of this. Omar Berrada, at the top of it, with the levels that he's got, it doesn't mean that it's just who he picks, who he gives wages to, bonuses to, structures and things like that. Like, Dan Ashworth is below it. Like, he cannot drop his standards. Jason Wilcox, being a City man, below Dan Ashworth. So it's like a Man City sandwich as such. I hate to say that because they're at United now, but you know what I mean by it. It's like Berrada and Wilcox with Dan Ashworth in the middle. Like, the standards are going to be there at the bottom level of this recruitment setup, which is Wilcox. No disrespect to that role, but that's where he is and what he can do. Berrada's at the top of it, and then you've got Dan Ashworth in the middle. He is not going to be able to move for being scrutinised and doing the best job that he can possibly do as well. So I think that is the positive for all Manchester United. Forget what they're going to bring in. Just look at what they can do now. That's what you've got to look at. Like, there is no more player power at Manchester United with these people in charge. If there is, and it's clear for us to see as Manchester United fans, then I think we could all just give up altogether. Because there's no reason why any player power would exist at Manchester United now with these people in place at the club. The Dan Ashworth, Berrada, Wilcox and everyone else. Even Sir Jim Radcliffe, David Brailsford. Like, the standards are there. Like, you are not going to be able to get away with it. If they do, then something humongously, something is drastically wrong at this football club that even a new structure cannot fix. And if that is the case, then Manchester United are finished. And everyone's fear about the Glazers still calling the shots and making everything impossible for anyone football mind orientated to work at the club, that is the end. That's the end game for Manchester United. It is. There is not a chance in hell. So Jim Radcliffe and his wealth and his power and his stature dwarfs what the Glazers are. There's no way he is coming into Manchester United to fanny around working under the Glazers just to call a tune for them. It's not going to happen. He's not a stupid man. He is brutal, and he will know exactly what his end game is here at Manchester United. I mean, for God's sake, the man's 70 odd and he's running a bleeding marathon before he goes to watch the game tomorrow. Like, I'm not saying that's like got anything to do with what he can do at United, but also you've got to look at that and go, that's the character of the man. Like, he does not stop. He is 100% constant all of the time. And guys, I have been on for about 20 minutes there. I just need to get that out. I think it seems again. Sorry. I'm going to come to the chat now. I'm going to roll up to Nulan Jones says, just need the Ashworth deal done now and we're good. Inos could have gone for Paul Mitchell. Like, is Paul better than Dan? Like, in Ineos's eyes and the people they've spoke to, and I'm sure they would have recruited well for the recruitment team and getting the right people in place. I thought Dan Ashworth is better. Like, that's why they've gone for him. Like, they had a target number one, and all we've done as Manchester United fans over the years, we've said it with managers and the players that we want, we never get our number one targets. Louis van Gaal, Jose Mourinho, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, they've all said the same things. What I'm looking at here is a positive in Ineos going and saying that they want Dan Ashworth. Forget about the rest. That's our target. We're having him. And we will wait, or we will do whatever we have to do to make sure that we get him. So that for me is a positive. But honestly, it only really counts if they take that attitude into the transfer market with players as well. Like, I can only see that will be how Manchester United are. Like, it's impossible for me to see Manchester United dilly-dallying around in the transfer market with a team like this. Like, I will be amazed if we end up struggling like we have done in years gone by with this setup in charge now at Manchester United. I will. I'm just really positive. Like, I've always been positive by the Omar Berrada more than anyone else. Like that, I feel. I didn't know much about the guy, but obviously I learned a lot from the role he was doing at the football club. You only hear about certain people in football. It's the quiet ones behind the scenes that are organising things. They're the gems. The people who don't need to be talked about that much. The people that you really do have to research when you hear their name. They're the gems. They're the ones that you want at your football club. The silent, quiet assassins. That's what Berrada is. And that's why, like, I was like everyone else, like, who? I'm going to be honest, I didn't know who he was. I didn't know what role he did. I learnt it like everybody else. Read into the man and what he does at Manchester City. And the fact that he's pretty much doing four-man's roles there, like, says everything you need to know about the man's character. Where he's worked, Barcelona, Manchester City, he's worked with the best and the standards have been massively set high. So that's the positive I'm taking from that. Again, I cannot continue going on with this many detailed descriptions after every comment, so I'm just going to go through quite a few now before we move on. Adam, why are we paying the money for Wilcox but not Ashworth? Make it make sense. Probably because Wilcox was very cheap, mate, is what I'm saying. Like, Southampton are not a direct rival with us. He's only been in the door a few months, and I just think it just isn't as big as Newcastle fighting United for a director of football. That's all I can put it down to. 115, I think, asking too much for Ashworth. Sim says, great, I don't like typing Guinness because I worked on Guinness's Road, Trafford Park for 30 years. Okay, totally random, but there you go. Parting with Arnold, Woodward, Murto is a big thing. Prashant, yeah, it is. It really is. Medical team should be next priority. Let's get some players in, shall we? Let's sort the playing stuff out first. Wishy-washy, Sunak to head the medical team. Wishy-washy, Sunak, sorry. Sunak. Oh my God, Adam. Sorry, guys. Yeah, not with it on that one. Wishy-washy Sunak to head the medical team. He's going to stop the sick note culture, so he says. Kirk says, imagine getting all these new staff members and they sack Eric and bring in Southgate. I know. On that side of things, I do feel you. I do. Like, it will feel like 5 giant strides. Never mind steps. It will feel like 5 giant strides going forward in putting in the best-in-class football structure that you can get with the money and the power of Ineos and Sir Jim Radcliffe behind it. But then it will be like just falling 6 steps equivalent backwards if you hired Gareth Southgate as manager. That's the difference right there in Manchester United and their thinking. Like, everyone else is in place. It's like getting the best car in Formula 1, then just getting the worst driver to drive it. It's like you've got everything else in place. You've done all your upgrades. You're ahead of everyone. The new design is slick aerodynamic. It's absolutely perfect and made for winning the Grand Prix and winning the series, the title, sorry. And then you go and put the worst driver in it. That's what Gareth Southgate coming to Manchester United is, in my eyes. It just is not the right fit. It really isn't. And you know what? The worrying thing is, if it does happen, then Inos are going to back him as well, aren't they? And even when it's bad, I just got that horrible feeling like this is the first manager we've appointed as Manchester United sporting operations leaders of that. This is the first manager that we've actually appointed, and we want it to work and make it look good for ourselves. That's the worry in all of this. That is the massive worry that I've got. Like, they will do anything to make it work. Like, you cannot go down that road. I think that's where United have made mistakes before. Adam, has Wilcox done his role before, or are we promoting him to it? No, he has done this role even more so, Stu. He's doing the same role he did at City. At City, he wanted the promotion to get to a director of football status. He didn't get it. City appointed someone else, and then he went elsewhere. He went and then took the job at Southampton and sporting director there. And it was said at Southampton, he literally organised his staff within weeks. He came in, organised everything, and the people that needed to be in situ, he already knew who he wanted, got it in place, and look at Southampton now, ready to bounce back to the Premier League near enough, doing well. And that's the positive with Wilcox. He has dabbled in the director of football role, only just, and was doing well at Southampton in it, but seen the opportunity at United and has taken that. The role that he's doing with the academy, second to none. Like what Henry Winter said, what everyone else is saying about him, the respect that he's got. And there's an article and something from the Wilcox one I wanted to read out to you. Wilcox had to convince Manchester City to stick with and persevere with Cole Palmer. He wasn't developing physically enough to Manchester City's likings, but he made Manchester City stay with him and continue with him and persevere with him. In 18 months, he went from 5'7" to 6 foot Cole Palmer, and he kept all his skill and kept all his technique, and all his levels were still there. Say no more. Like, that's what he does. Like, he recognises talent. He recognises what's ready, what's not ready, or what else someone else needs. Like that there, seeing a talent that could just be forgotten about. This is like, for example, perfect for me, Dominic Solanke. It's like other end of the scale, obviously, because Dominic's now in the Premier League, but like forgotten man at Liverpool. Some players take longer to develop. Some players don't hit the ground running straight away mentally and physically as well. Wilcox is in a role in the youth academy setup at Manchester City where he was identifying talents. He was making sure that everyone was in a position that best suited them, i.e. they could go forward to the first team training. They needed a bit more time. They needed more physical work. Their mentality wasn't quite right and everything like that. So looking at that and everything that he was doing there and the success and some of the players that City have brought through, whether you like what they've done and the way they've won 15 their way to the top, which is true, they've still developed a youth academy and brought through some seriously young talent. Like you got Lewis there, you got Bob, you got Foden, you got Palmer, just to name a few. Quality players. And then you look at the other side of what Wilcox did, mixed in with what Omar Berrada did, and it's like the James Trafford transfer to Burnley. Like, who is paying 25 million in their right mind for a Premier League goalkeeper? Not even a Premier League goalkeeper, an academy goalkeeper that's not had one Premier League game. Wilcox develops. Omar Berrada somehow makes the deal happen and gets 25 million for Manchester City for a player that's not played 1 minute of Premier League football. Go figure. Why can't United do that? All anyone has ever said is, why are United not in this sort of market? Why are United not able to prosper from their academy players financially or player squad depth-wise? This is what's coming to United. Get excited about that at least, even if certain other appointments that are made really upset us and put us backwards, in my opinion. At least this side of things, this is solidifying the best thing at Manchester United, which is our academy. That's a guarantee. That is what I'm buzzing about with this more than anything else. And I said that yesterday on the show. Back into the chat quickly. Michael Vine says, that's it. Brainwave, if Radcliffe wants a new stadium, let City move into the co-op, then swap out the interior of the Etihad whilst new stadium is built and United play there. What are you on about the co-op, Michael? The co-op's an indoor boxing arena, the new one. I don't know what you mean by that, or if there's another one. Like, are you talking about the athletics track that has a few thousand? It's probably just about fill that one, so I understand where you're going with that one, if that's what you're getting at. Big up, everyone. Big up to you as well, Araya. Daryl, been Ten Hag out since August. Haven't changed my mind. Decisions on this will come very quickly. We're going to talk more about the Coventry game later on tonight, guys, as well. So make sure you're tuned in for that. These players have never been held accountable. The manager has always taken the fall. Yes, he has. Berrada said 2 seasons and out, so they have to shape up. 2 seasons and out, and that is a Brailsford sort of side as well. Sky Cycling were successful before Ineos. Mercedes were successful before Ineos. So what makes you think the United are going to be successful? Everything I just said, Sim. Again, I understand. If you're sceptical about Ineos, that's fine. Go for it. But I know the people that they're putting in place. That, for me, is a change in the right direction. They cannot do anything yet in terms of transfer market and stuff like that. The rules won't allow them to do anything else. So I'm struggling to find how people are finding a negative in Ineos right now in what they have done. That's my side of it. Like, I don't know where you're coming from with that. But like I said, I understand completely where you're coming from with your skepticism. Like, false starts. Like, Double A was the same when we spoke to him this week when we had him on the show. It's like, yeah, prove it to me. And I suppose, like we always said, proof is in the pudding is in the eating. And until players are in and players are out, the manager situation is sorted, United are playing a certain brand of football, I still think that a lot of people will not be completely convinced by Ineos. So, yeah, you've got to do a lot of work if you're on the Ineos side of things to let everyone know your intentions. Like, you have to prove to a lot of people that you are the right fit for Manchester United still. And a lot of fans are still not having it. And that I can understand. I really can. But right now in what they can do, I find it hard to criticise. I do. Like yesterday, some people were thinking I was being negative on Ineos. Like, I was talking about what Ineos issues are and them not being their issues, them inheriting them issues from what Manchester United have done in years gone by. And some people still thought that was going on about things that Ineos have got wrong. Like, they haven't got anything wrong yet. Like, they made a mistake in thinking they could get Dan Ashworth in over the door easily from Newcastle. And that is a problem that they're going to have to live with now in terms of their stance and how they negotiate with things. But if it gets done and it gets done before the season starts, then who are we to moan about that? Like, they've moved fast and changed the whole scope of Manchester United in just a few months of being through the door. That, for me, has to look at being the biggest positive out of anything. How quickly they've worked and the people that are coming in. Let's get right down to the bottom of the chats. Benny says, think the future looks bright. So Jim doing a good job. We're getting in the best in class. Omar Berrada and Ashworth, Colin Moonfish and Jason Wilcox looking good. It is a positive for me. It is ultimately a positive. And I cannot look at it any other way. Will I have changed my mind come the end of the January summer? Why do I always say January for the transfer? I say it every single time. Idiot. The summer transfer window. Will I be thinking any differently after that summer transfer window was finished? God knows. I don't know. It's like yesterday, like we talked about Zinedine Zidane. Like, is he the right man to come forward for Manchester United? Some people would say, look, he's the wrong man for Manchester United because he's not the man to come in to mastermind a rebuild of a football club from the ground up. Like, how the hell do you know that? Like, it's just an opinion. Everyone's welcome to opinions. But, like, people who are saying that Zinedine Zidane is the wrong man because of what I said yesterday, like, all he's done is proven with Galacticos that he can win major trophies. I understand the argument, but you cannot say that he is the wrong man for United just off that when he's never done it. Like, he may be chomping at the bit to take a role on a project like that and make Manchester United great again. He may want to see the other side of football, which isn't going into a club like Pep Guardiola does every single time he moves, going into something that's set up perfectly, that's guaranteed trophies because you've got an endless, bottomless pit of cash. You're one of a 2-horse race every single season club. Like, the corruption in La Liga and what happened with Barcelona is one thing alone. Like, Real Madrid, they're no angels either, are they? And look at Manchester City, like, and Bayern Munich. Like, every time he goes to a club, like, does Zidane want to be that manager? Does he want to copy what Pep does and go in for the easy job? That, I think, you cannot judge. Until Zidane makes his mind up, I don't think we can say anything. So I look at that and I say, look, you are not right when you say that Zidane is not fit for this job. You don't know. You don't know. Everyone's got an opinion, and I understand the people who are looking at it as not a good fit, and it's not a negative. It's a good thing that we've got someone like Zidane who might actually be interested at United. I would go in for him. I would take Zidane tomorrow over Ten Hag. I just feel like these players right now would have to play for Zidane. He would demand respect and demand performances. And I just don't think the players would have any excuse, man. If you can throw someone like Zidane under the bus, then credit to you for your powers of manipulation and skullduggery and evilry, whatever you want to call it as a player. Like, you are bottom of the barrel when it comes to player attitude and performance. If you can do something like that, if that man cannot inspire you to play football, then you don't belong to be in them dressing rooms in the Premier League. You don't belong to be in football. That's all I'll say on that. You do not belong in the game. Simple as. Guys, I did say I'd update you on tomorrow. Obviously, guys, we are heading to Wembley tomorrow. So the schedule for tomorrow. First of all, quickly, we are on TIFO, 5 o'clock, City versus Chelsea, FA Cup semi-final. Watch along for all members. Make sure you join me. I will put up a separate video a little bit later on with all the details. But you all know the score now. If you go on the community post, the link is there directly to the community page. You'll see the scheduled watch along there on TIFO, which is City against Chelsea tonight. There will be a late night show here on YouTube as well after that game, guys. A bit late and a bit different for the Saturday, but it's big. It's a different weekend. It's FA Cup semi-final weekend. Who's calling? I'm not sure what that's about, but it's a super chat's due, so I'm going to thank you for it anyway. Not sure where I'm going with that, but yeah. That's the script for today. Tomorrow, guys, it's an early start for us. We're heading down to Wembley, and what I wanted to tell everybody is that, do you know what? Coming away and doing FUTV, going on my own, all the help that I've had from Kaz and Josh and everyone else involved in the channel, like Jay, Double A, people coming on, people like that, people with all your support and everything like that. I was told that this was never going to work. I was told that you won't make it on your own. I was said that to get the experiences, you needed to be at a big channel. Well, tomorrow, FUTV is in the press box at Wembley. We have got full accreditation, and we are going to be covering all of the content from inside of Wembley with access to both managers' press conferences and the mix zone with the players as well. So, guys, that is what I wanted to tell you. And anyone who says that this cannot happen or you cannot get where you need to get, a bit of hard work, a bit of determination, and you know what, just will to get there goes a long way. Massive thank you to you guys again, the subscribers, the people who watch, the people who like, the members, everybody, the mods that are part of this channel. Bang, that's what it's all about, guys. Taking this channel to the next level and getting opportunities to bring you guys the better content. It's going to be completely different to what anyone else does. We do it our way here on FUTV. That's all we do. So, yeah, let's just go and rock it tomorrow at Wembley. Let's enjoy ourselves. I will keep you all posted as the day goes on. Obviously, we will have a road trip. Road trips are back, people. So, yeah, road trip down to Wembley. That will be first. Then we have got the warm-up show. Where we will be filming the warm-up show up from, I cannot tell you yet, guys, but hopefully it's from inside Wembley. That would be amazing. So, yeah, let's go smash it inside. We'll get fan content. We'll get inside the press conference content. We'll get inside of the mix zone content and everything else. So, guys, yes, absolutely buzzing with that. So we're going down heavy-handed, big team of us. Press box, accreditation, looking forward to the day, absolutely amazing. Hopefully the Reds can bring home the win as well. And yeah, like, if you are around Wembley as well and you're going to the game tomorrow, we will be out and about early doors. We will be around for a while after the game, so don't rush back. There's no rush. Trust me on this one. As a man that's travelled up and down the country at United games, the best way is not to leave early. The best way is not to get out with the hordes and then don't take your chances, running to the trains and stuff like that and getting out into your car as quick as you can. It's just take your time, enjoy your day. No mad rush, no panic. Go and get something to eat outside the stadium. There's lots to do outside there. Come and have a chat with us. Enjoy your day at the fullest that you possibly can, because you don't get many opportunities to get to Wembley and enjoy it. So make sure that you do. That's all I'm saying. And I will be there talking to you guys if you are out and about. I will make it very clear on socials and on YouTube where we are at. So come and say hello, guys, as well. But guys, I know not a lot of you had your comments out on the show today, but I just want to say thank you again for everyone joining us. Great show, really informative, I thought, from myself. Not wanting to big myself up or anything like that, but I've just found myself just going on there and really enjoying the chat there today, guys. But yeah, love you all. Thank you for the super chats. All the members, make sure you tuned in. Tifo time is back. 5 o'clock, City versus Chelsea. And then we're back later on YouTube as well for the evening show, where it's a full preview looking ahead to the game tomorrow. I'll give you some more information on what's going down as well with the day. But that is us all finished, guys. Thank you. Love you all. Have a great rest of your Saturday. Go and enjoy yourselves. Get out in what looks like good weather here. Hopefully it's good where you are. And I'll see you all later on for the City game. Have a good one, people. See you later.